Lần đầu tiên xin chào các độc giả đã đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com. Khi tìm đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng, chắc hẳn bạn đang mong muốn tìm cho mình một công cụ tốt nhất trong quá trình rèn luyện kỹ năng. Kỹ năng ở đây có thể là kỹ năng lãnh đạo, kỹ năng bán hàng, kỹ năng mềm, kỹ năng sống và rất nhiều các kỹ năng khác. Thông thường khi nghĩ đến việc rèn luyện các kỹ năng như chúng tôi đã đề cập ở trên, chúng ta thường hay nghĩ đến việc tìm mua cái đầu sách hoặc tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Nhưng trong cuộc sống bận rộn của thế kỷ 21, thời gian và tiền bạc là hai thứ luôn bị giới hạn nhiều nhất. Với sự ra đời của website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com, chúng tôi mang đến cho bạn một công cụ tốt hơn trong việc rèn luyện kỹ năng của mình, đó chính là các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng. Bạn sẽ không còn phải tốn quá nhiều thời gian để đọc sách hay tốn quá nhiều tài chính để tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Chỉ cần bỏ DVD vào đầu máy, ngay lập tức bạn đã có thể tận hưởng những thước phim quý giá được chia sẻ từ các diễn giả nổi tiếng tại Việt Nam và trên thế giới. Website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cung cấp đầy đủ cho bạn các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng trên nhiều lĩnh vực. Tất cả các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng của các diễn giả nước ngoài có tại website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com đều có phụ đề 100%, hỗ trợ tối đa cho quý độc giả khi theo dõi. Rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cam kết chất lượng tất cả các DVD khi cung cấp cho quý khách hàng. Với hân hạnh được phục vụ cho rất nhiều các khách hàng trên cả nước. Chỉ cần click đặt hàng, trong vòng 1 đến 3 ngày, bạn đã có thể cầm sản phẩm trong tay. Rèn luyện kỹ năng hân hạnh được phục vụ quý khách.
My father is a veteran. He is a retired colonel in the United States Air Force. In fact, I lived on the Air Force Academy the exact same time that Waldo was going to the Air Force Academy. We are the same age. We have the same degree. We found that we have a lot in common. And I'm incredibly proud of Waldo for all the work he's devoted to our country. And I'm also very proud of my daddy Kim, that's what I call him, for the years of service that he's given to our country. And thanks to my father's success, I'm a veteran too. Only my war wasn't Vietnam, the Gulf War, Iraq, but the Turf War. And I hated every single one of them. Fact is, moving is a traumatic experience, third, next to death and divorce. So how did I survive? Well, I learned to take control of what I could. I became a master at packing and organizing. Before the movers had finished unloading the moving van, my room was up and running. Barbie and Ken had moved into their new pad, and every stuffed bunny, bear, and unicorn was lined up in precise formation on my bed, exactly as it had been in the house before, and ready for the colonel's inspection. You know, they say hardship builds character. I'm a character, all right. My friends used to laugh at my perfectly clean bedroom, my compulsive list making, my overwhelming urge to organize. But hardship builds more than character. The upheaval of my childhood taught me how to create order from chaos. And it laid the foundation for the systems that I use today as the Productivity Pro, the ones that I use to help professionals make every minute on the job count. And I know it is so hard to talk about productivity today. People are saying, why in the world would I want to be more productive? I'm already working as hard as I can. And in this world of do more with less, it is really hard to focus on productivity when we're all suffering from a case of the overs. Overworked, overscheduled, overcommitted, overstressed, overwhelmed, over it. But the good news is that productivity is not the enemy. A lack of focus is. When you clearly define what your priorities are, and focus on them, you are able to accomplish your goals sooner. And when you perform at your peak, you're able to leave the office on time, every time. And in order to do this, I'd like to offer some strategies. 3 simple time management techniques. First, I want to talk about moving a mountain. Growing up on the Air Force Academy at the base of Colorado Springs, I woke up to see Pikes Peak every day. The mountains that interfere with our plans, the obstacles, and the email, and the voicemail, and the interruptions, and the paper, and all of the things that get in the way of allowing us to impart and accomplish our goals. And what we're going to see is that when the why is important enough, the how becomes easier. Second, to move a minute. Once you've moved a mountain and you see clear of the obstacles, how do you make every minute, every moment of your day count? So that you can focus, so that you can leave the office earlier with less stress, with more to show for it. And the third is to move on. Once you've eliminated obstacles and you have a path clear to dedicate your time to, how do you make sure that you're spending your time in ways that are important to you? That the way that you spend your time actually reflects the things that are important to you. Move a mountain, move a minute, and move on. Let's talk first about the mountain. You know, statistics show that the average person moves 7 times in his or her lifetime. 7 times, that was a good year. My father was lucky enough to move up the ranks very quickly in the Air Force. And with every promotion he got, we got a bigger house. More boxes to pack. More uncertainty in our lives. My 2 brothers and I quickly learned the drill. You probably have done this yourself. You open the box, you fold the flap, tape it shut, put the paper in, right? Heavy items first, seal, label, stack. We got that down. Clockwork, clockwork, clockwork. We lived a real fast-track life. I lived a fast-track life. I finished high school at 16. Finished my undergraduate degree at 19. I finished my MBA at 21. People would say to me, "What's your hurry?" You know, and to this day, I don't have a real good answer for that. I was perpetually on the move, pushing to accomplish it, without really defining what it was. And moving around without a purpose like this started taking a real toll on my career, on my health, on my family. Without the why, the purpose beneath what I was doing, the how became harder and harder. Soon I was working 14-hour days. I was traveling 3 days out of the month. I was slowly burning out. I was 24. And without having a focus in my life, things very soon got out of control. So I knew that I needed to move a mountain. For me, it was my blind pursuit of success, an overwhelming sense of obligation, my deeply held fear of failure. They didn't have a place in my life, and it took me a long time to figure out how to pack them up, how to label them appropriately, and how to move them out of my life. Vilfredo Pareto is a famous, now famous, Italian economist who in the 17th century found out that 20% of the Italians had 80% of that country's wealth. He called the 20% that had the 80% of the wealth the critical few, and the others he called the trivial many. My dad was a pack rat. He had more tools in his garage than he could ever use. He had 20% of the tools that he used 80% of the time. How many of you have a closet full of clothes, most of which you never wear? You wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. My father had a box of strings. The funniest part about that was that it was labeled string too short to use. He would wash Ziploc bags. Anyone? You still do? Save tin foil. He would say things like, eat everything on your plate, sweetheart, because the poor children are starving. And the funny thing about every time we packed, we'd have the boxes lined up in precise formation, ready to be moved out of the house, still taped shut from the previous move. My father used to put a moving sticker on each box. There was a moving sticker this high on a few of those boxes. I said, Daddykins, why don't we just put those out at the trash? Don't touch those boxes, Laura, they're important.